Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury, and it's actually Clarkey and Drury this time. Clarkey is back. He's back. Well, we'll get the lowdown where he was, all right, because he wasn't suffering the winter hell that the rest of us were here in Midwestern Ontario, and we're very pleased because not only is Clarkey back, we have back on the show a great friend of ours. You know this guy from Homestand Sports, a bunch of different Leafs content that he's done over the years. We're going to talk about that for sure, and he's also a Canucks fan, and we got to talk about that too. Our buddy Justin Pooni is back. JP, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. First of all, I know you guys were mentioning just before we started recording about the bad weather up there where you guys are. Safe to say here in the GTA, it's just cold, not 8 feet of snow or whatever you guys are living with up there.
Yeah, Clarkey, why don't you quickly touch on what you were doing while we got hit with a winter hellscape hurricane? There he is with his nice. Why don't you fill us in on what you were doing?
I just went a little golf trip, that's all.
A little trip
down to Dominican Republic. You know, you got to love your guys down there. They take care of me at the Barcella Bavaro. Nice little resort with a golf course right on it. 5 nights, it's good. You got to get out of here. Now, I was here, though, at the beginning of last week when it was minus 40 degrees out. So I was here. I left Thursday and came back Tuesday night. So I'm refreshed. I'm ready to go.
So really quick before we dig into what's going to shape up to be a pretty epic Super Bowl matchup with our buddy Justin Pooni here, why don't you just quickly tell us how'd the golf trip go? How did you make out? Did you shoot under?
I did not make a birdie. I made the whole time. I was
You
awful.
Didn't make one?
I was awful.
Clarkey.
I was awful.
Oh, boy.
I was driving the ball down the middle. That wasn't the problem. Hitting it 240 down the middle, but inside 150 yards, I thought I was a beginner in golf. Like chunking, chunk after chunk after chunk. It was awful.
You were chili dipping all over the Dominican Republic.
I had Doigie on speed dial, but I didn't bother. Yeah, I don't think he could have fixed it. I don't know what was wrong, Ryan, but I had a great time. It was 85 degrees or 29 and sunny every day. Sat by the pool, had a few beverages, but the golf, as enjoyable as it was, I sucked. I played 3 rounds, and first, I went 47 on the front 9, 47 on the back 9, 94.
Okay.
Next day, 47 on the front 9, 47 on the back 9, 94. The next day, 48 on the front 9, 51 on the back 9.
Oh,
good night, nurse.
It didn't improve.
No, it got better. It got worse.
Not only were you chili dipping all over the DR, you have Toronto Maple Leafs whiskey mitts right now. They can't score, and you can't sink birdies. How about that?
I didn't even have a legit birdie putt. That's how bad it was. Honestly,
boy. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the weather. And
the weather was great.
Speaking of weather, we as football fans, and I understand finally, Justin, I understand. You know I'm a New England Patriots fan. I finally am starting to understand how everyone else felt with the Patriots fatigue of my boys over 20 years. We all now have to weather a 3rd straight appearance from the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It's going to be a rematch of 2 years ago against the Eagles. Let's talk about the 2 games. We'll start, obviously, with the AFC Championship. What went wrong with the Buffalo Bills? What is it going to take for these guys to get over the hump here? Because, man, oh, man, they came close, but still no cigar.
It's, you said so close, but no cigar. That's kind of the story of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow's career so far. All 3 of those quarterbacks, Hall of Fame level quarterbacks, yet to get over that Mahomes mountain. And in specific about that AFC Championship game, look, everybody's saying that it's rigged and all that stuff. Really don't understand the game. What it came down to is this. Josh Allen had a chance with 3.5 minutes left to win the game. Spags, what does he do best? He dials up these exotic blitzes at the right time. And should Dalton Kincaid have caught the ball? Okay, maybe. But that blitz and how they got into Josh Allen's face and made him throw that unbelievable pass at the end of the game, that's what won the game. The Chiefs are not the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill where they're going to put up monster numbers. They're the best situational football team out there. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. The fact that the Bills couldn't win was their own doing. How many 4th and 1s did they do with the tush push with Josh Allen? Everybody and their mother and brother know you're going to do that. Change it up, right? And what it comes down to is this: coaching and creativity. The Chiefs had better coaching and more creativity when it mattered the most, and that's why they won the game. And I think that's what sets them apart from everybody else in the AFC especially. They're just, from the shoulders up, better than everybody else. And it helps when you have Patrick Mahomes in his Tiger Woods 2000s, Michael Jordan mid-90s, that type of vibe where whatever he does, it's just going to amount to winning. It doesn't matter. He's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how it shakes out, I think. And look, people are making a lot about the officials, and I
got to overcome it, Ryan. You got to overcome that stuff.
Yeah,
you just got to overcome it.
You do have to overcome that stuff because,
can't blame the
again, I had not in the grand scheme of a game like this, Clarkey. Like, people are freaking out about the spot on that 4th and 1. I mean, you're Josh Allen. Like, I expect that you should be able, like, to not be fighting for 6 inches. You should be able to push that 1.5 yards downfield.
Exactly.
Like, look.
I agree with you.
And James
Cook was unbelievable.
Disappeared.
But listening to your buddy there last week on the show. I did listen while I was in Dominican. I listened to the show you did last week.
Cool.
2 goalies, 1 Mike. What's the guy? What was his name?
Dwayne Stein, our buddy.
So Dwayne had already. I listened to this, and I'm telling you, this happened. He already had his position at the parade. He was already worried that there was going to be some people dying from alcohol poisoning. That was
a joke, yeah.
There was also he didn't think there'd be any, or you didn't think there'd be any kitchen tables left in Buffalo after the Super Bowl. You know what it sounded like to me? It sounded like a Leaf fan.
It did. Clarkey, it did. Hey,
like the parade route was planned. Everything was planned. They won 2 playoff games. Everything was planned. You got 2 guys sitting here with you that completely agree with that take. Like, that is what it's and look, I understand the optimism, and Josh Allen's a great player. I still think he'll be able to win a Super Bowl at some point. It's just what you said is really what it boils down to. And I had people reaching out to me as a Patriots fan going, "Oh, I thought I hated the Patriots. I hate these guys way more." A buddy of mine, even your Patriots didn't get reffing favoritism like the Chiefs. And I'm like, man, like, you're boiling down. You're taking 2 or 3 moments of, like, hey, do they get maybe more beneficial calls than other people? Yeah, but, like, you earn that reputation. And at the end of the day, you can't tell me. I'd maybe give you one. I'd maybe say, okay, yeah, maybe they won that first Super Bowl because they got a couple of You can't go to 3 straight bowls because of the referees. You cannot. And what it does is, and what it used to bother me with the Patriots, Justin, was it takes away from the genius and the all-around ball brilliance of back then Bill Belichick. And now Andy Reid, who I love. He's maybe the only guy I'm happy for. I love Andy Reid. I think he's an absolute beauty. More cheeseburgers for Andy. And what you said is, I think, the best summation I've heard. From the shoulders up, it's a head game out there, and they are 3 or 4 steps ahead of everyone else in the NFL. And on that note, before we move to the NFC, Justin, I need to ask you, as we record this, there's been no word. I haven't even heard whispers that this is possible. Would you fire Sean McDermott and bring in someone else? Is that what it might take?
I would.
Okay.
But the thing is, who are you going to bring in now? You're at the point now where the hiring cycle has been complete, right?
I agree with you, but there was a Super Bowl champion coach who was available for a couple of seasons, at least one season. I just took a college job. I heard he burned bridges, but you know what? Do you want to win?
Imagine that as a Patriots fan, seeing Bill Belichick's
Why not?
With the Bills. That would be something.
Why not? He wins.
It's the kind of the situation where they're at. It's kind of like the Leafs, where they just need a fresh voice or something new. It's getting to that point where it's you have a generational player in Josh Allen, or people say, he's a top 4 quarterback. I don't think he's better than Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, but that's a story for another day. You got to change it up a little bit. You have James Cook, who, Joe Brady just stopped giving the ball to. The guy was getting like over 6 yards a carry, and you just stopped giving him the ball. Okay. Sean McDermott is a defensive coach. That's fine. But you look at a guy like Dan Campbell, or even Nick Sirianni, not true X's and O's guys, more culture builder guys. How does a guy like Joe Brady compare to a guy like Ben Johnson or Kellen Moore? He's a good offensive coordinator. He's reined in Josh Allen, but those guys are so creative and they're exotic in their play designs where they're going to get head coaching jobs or have gotten head coaching jobs. I don't think Joe Brady's that guy yet. You had that in Brian Daboll, but of course he's now the head coach with the New York Giants. What it comes down to, and you guys know, is football is such a chess game, a chess match, excuse me. And the Chiefs just have the two best chess players in football in Mahomes and Andy Reid. And that's just the story in the AFC. To get to the Super Bowl, you're going to have to outsmart and outfox Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And to this day, nobody has done that yet.
No one's done it except for my boys back when Brady was still rocking and rolling.
They were young. Mahomes was young. He was young.
He was young. Okay. Yeah, we'll give him that. And then my boy Tom spanked him in that Super Bowl when they faced off.
Had no offensive line, but
the only guy that's done it was Joey Cigars that one year, and he ended up coming up short in the Super Bowl. So no one's been able to topple them and then get the big prize at the end. And that's exactly what Philadelphia is going to be trying to do. I don't know that game necessarily needs as much of a breakdown as the Bills one. I mean, it's pretty simple. A veteran stifling Philly defense got to the young rookie quarterback finally and stifled him. But I love what's in Washington's future. I mean, that Jaden Daniels kid's something else. But let's move right into the big cat here, the Super Bowl. What does Philadelphia, because we know, like you just covered, we know what KC's all about. We know what these guys do. The story is, how does Philadelphia disrupt that and knock these guys off the pedestal? Do you think they can, A, and B, if so, how do they do it?
I'm more confident Philly to knock off KC this year than I was 2 years ago. And the biggest reason why is that guy on the defensive line, Jalen Carter. If you watch him play, he is a disruptor he messes it up all the time for offenses. There's a reason why Aaron Donald said, that's my replacement, right? In terms of a dominant force on the defensive line, Jalen Carter is an absolute beast out there. But the other thing Howie Roseman's done, you have Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Darius Slay. That's secondary. There's no more James Bradbury back there who's going to get a holding call penalty, right? Those guys lock you down. And here's the thing. Yes, Travis Kelce is still there, but Zach Bond has been flying all over the field. And Travis Kelce's lost a step in the last 2 years. We've seen it on TV in front of our very eyes. He can keep Travis Kelce in check. The thing is this. You know it's going to be a one-score game. And you look at the last Super Bowl, the Eagles would have won that if Jalen Hurts didn't fumble the ball and the scoop and score. If Jalen Hurts can keep the ball clean, and because the Kansas City is not going to stop Saquon Barkley. If Jalen plays the way he played at the NFC Championship game, Philadelphia wins this Super Bowl. They have too much talent. They're playing too well on all sides of the ball. You talk about it, Spags. Vic Fangio is a wily old fox on the defensive side of the ball, too. He's been on the block for a long, long time, and he's got those guys playing. Kellen Moore is a guy who knows how to call offensive plays. He's done it before. I think Philadelphia, they just don't have to get in their own way. If they play sound and they don't turn the ball over, and if you look at the games, these playoffs, the team that loses the turnover battle loses the game. So whoever does not make the most amount of mistakes will win this football game. And I think Philadelphia can play a clean football game and beat Kansas City and derail a three-peat. They did it before with your Patriots, Ryan, and I think they can do it again this year.
And they're look, I'm not taking anything away from that defense that beat us. I mean, mind you, that defense gave up 35 points. I mean, Brady pushed them right to the limit. But in saying that, I agree with you, and I think Carter is the X factor. And I think that this Philly team is, I don't want to say twice as talented and deep, but pretty close to that team that did win the Super Bowl. And I think that the opponent that team beat in that Super Bowl is better than this Kansas City team on paper. And that's the big thing that's going to get talked about whenever this game concludes. This looked this way on paper. Philadelphia does have a more talented roster on paper. but it's got to be clean from them, like you said, JP. I love that you hammered on that, because it doesn't matter. This Chiefs team's proved it the last 2 Super Bowls they've won. Doesn't matter what it looks like on paper. They're the efficient executors, and you've got to take the hangman's head off if you want to win a Super Bowl. And I would love to see Saquon Barkley do it. Do you think that the New York Giants might just sink right into the ground if Saquon Barkley wins a Super Bowl and maybe wins MVP? Do you think that franchise will just collapse on itself?
I thought they should have fired Joe Shane after the season, just for the fact that it came out in the public eye where the owner said, I will lose sleep if Saquon Barkley goes to Philly. Saquon Barkley goes to Philly, rushes for over 2,000 yards, is like 30 some odd yards away from breaking Terrell Davis' record for most yards regular season and postseason combined. You let him go. It's fine if you let him go for money reasons, but to let him go to your division rival, and he does it up right down the street from you guys. Like Philly and Jersey are pretty close, right? To do it right down the street from you guys, that's I don't know what torture feels like, but for a fan base like the Giants, that must feel like torture to see Saquon basically carry the Eagles to the Super Bowl historically. And it just shows you the difference between a smartly run franchise and a mismanaged franchise. And Saquon goes into that locker room in Philadelphia, and we already knew he was a stud. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, I think he enters that top 5 running back potentially of all time because of just this one season alone. Barry Sanders was never able to do this. Walter Payton had the legendary defense of the Bears. For a guy to just carry this team and to a Super Bowl, potentially a championship, would be unprecedented.
Yeah, it really would. I just think the revival of the running back has been amazing to watch the last couple of years, and he is at the center of it. Speaking of being at the center of things, let's shift gears to another sport that we all know and love, and that's the great game of hockey. Not feeling very great, though, in your beloved Vancouver, where your Canucks reside. Now, as we record this, I mean, they've won 3 straight games.
Yes, back on playoff spot.
It's incredible that they're doing this under all this turmoil, and it's all surrounding JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. First of all, as a fan, what have you felt about this situation? And secondly, what would you do if you were Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin to resolve this? Who goes?
You got to, at this point, just trade both of them. To be honest with you, just trade both. As a Canuck, look, I think I talked to you guys at the beginning of this year, right? And I was saying the Canucks can make the Stanley Cup Finals, right? And on paper, when you have Pettersson and Miller playing at the top of their games and playing invested mentally, I don't think there's behind McDavid and Draisaitl, there's no better 1-2 punch down the middle on paper and skill-wise. The problem is this. These 2 guys can't get along. Right? JT Miller's, as noted, been a locker room problem in New York and Tampa. Okay, fine. Elias Pettersson, he's a guy who he's not going to be your JT Miller or your Rick Tocchet type of guy and show that emotion. He's got that, more of that Sedin ilk where he's not going to say anything, but he's still got it internally. The fact that these 2 guys have gotten everything they wanted from the organization, both got long-term deals, both got paid, and both still can't get along, just get rid of both of them. And the biggest travesty to me as a Canucks fan is this. You're coming off a season where, look, I didn't think they were going to win the Pacific again, right? That they played very well last year and they're not sneaking up anybody. But the fact that you're wasting another dominant Quinn Hughes season, the fact that your captain has to answer questions about this garbage every single day. Like Quinn Hughes, and I'm going to say this right now, is going to be the greatest Canuck of all time, right? And the fact that they're wasting this guy's talent in his prime, he has a contract coming up in a year or 2, right? You think, and if the Canucks let him walk, then it's over. The fact that these 2 guys, these supposed cornerstones of the franchise, can't coexist at a workplace setting like everybody else has to do in the world, it's downright embarrassing. Everybody's saying that it's the media's fault. Yes, the Vancouver media does blow things up.
Well,
right?
Jimmy Rutherford didn't say that. He admitted there's a problem.
Yeah.
But it got to that point where he had to address something, right?
Yeah.
The fact that people are just creating, and if you've ever been on Canucks Twitter, there's some crazy rumors out there about why JT Miller took a leave of absence, all this stuff. 99% of it's BS. But Jim Rutherford comes out and he essentially kills any of trade value that they want, saying that we're going to trade both of them or one of them, right? So the value is going to be low. And of course, reports were last week that Pettersson was the one expected to go to Carolina instead of Mikko Rantanen. To me, as a fan and just watching this team and watching every game, it's just embarrassing that these guys just can't get along. Like, not even get along, just coexist.
I agree with you. Like, what the heck could it be? Like, like in the locker room, two guys don't get along. So what? There's guys who Ryan doesn't get along with at work. There's probably guys you don't. There's guys like it happens, and you just move on and you do your job. I know it's maybe different in a team sport, but what on earth could JT Miller be so bad? And like, I don't know. I don't want to hear any rumors from the internet, but like, Phaneuf wasn't exactly a good guy in the dressing room either. But
for JT, I think he's a guy who you wears his emotions on your sleeve. And if you ask any hockey fan, you want that in a player, especially in the Canadian market. Can he be a bit of a prick to the media? Yeah, but I want a guy who's a prick to the media, right? The fact, though, is you also have to, as a leader of this team, and quite frankly, he's the heart. Quinn Hughes, I think this year's set himself above everybody else as the true leader of the team. But JT Miller, for the last couple of years before this year, was the heart and soul, the engine of the Vancouver Canucks. And having that responsibility, you have to also understand that certain guys, take criticism a different type of way, right? And Pettersson's a guy who everybody has said, if you get in his face, he shuts down, right? And I think for JT Miller, you have to understand, look, I just got to be hands off on him. Now, it's hard when you're getting paid $11.6 million and he seems not engaged, right? But just the fact that these two guys can't coexist, and the fact that Rick Tocchet cannot corral these guys. That
is true too. Like, you would think a guy like Rick Tocchet could, if anyone could, right? Like, and like as you said, maybe they'll trade both of them. I don't see how that's going to help the team. Like, I think it was, in my humble estimation, when you trade the superstar like the Colorado Avalanche did, you're not going to win the trade. No. You're not going to win it. And if they trade two guys, oh my God, I feel bad for Vancouver fans.
It would bring back, and Justin and Clark, you'll remember this too. It would echo memories almost of the Flyers in 2012 when they traded away Mike Richards, and then later on Jeff Carter, who made a brief pit stop in Columbus. Cried.
And what have the Flyers done since then?
Nothing.
That's kind of what I'm saying. And we referenced this recently. I can't remember what it was about. I remember watching that press conference when then GM Paul Holmgren was still running the ship in Philly. And he said to a reporter who asked him, how do you think these trades make your team better? And he said, I don't know that we're going to be better, but we're going to be different. Keep in mind, this is 2 years after they lost in a Stanley Cup final with those guys to the Chicago Blackhawks. And that's the worry, right? Like, if they flip both of them, if you're asking me who I would rather keep, I would rather keep Pettersson, simply because he's younger, and the height that we've seen out of his game is just so enticing to walk away from.
Having said that, though, as a Leaf fan, I'd love to see JT Miller.
Yeah, and there's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he would fit nicely with the Leafs.
The Rantanen trade has opened up all kinds of cans of worms across the league now, like especially in the GTA with a guy like Mitch Marner.
They're not trading Mitch Marner.
I know, and that's the thing. We'll dig into that more, in the rest of the show. But it's opened up a can of worms, and I want to ask you about that too, Justin. That Rantanen trade. I was on the air in Guelph when that came down, and we had to talk about it. Like, during our game, we were like, a crazy thing just happened in the NHL. Like, this is an earth-shattering move. And producer Adam, I mean, we'll talk to him later too. I don't know how that poor guy feels, but you look at what Eric Tulsky has done as the general manager there. Last year for their playoff run, they went out and got Jake Gensel. This year they go out and get Mikko Rantanen. They didn't trade any first round picks, and they didn't trade any of their top 5 prospects to get these deals done. Like, Eric Tulsky is making a real name for himself here. But you look at that move, Justin, like, man, that's a crazy one, and you got to be wondering what Nate McKinnon and Cale Makar think of this.
Well, I think, as you know, Marty Netchus is not a bad guy, like not a bad player at all.
Good player.
He's a very good player. He's not Mikko Rantanen, but I think what Colorado knew was that Rantanen was going to want to more than, go above Colorado's internal cap. And I think that's smart. Quite frankly, as a team, to have an internal cap, that is a smart thing. I think if the Leafs had an internal cap, that would have helped them out a long time ago, right? The fact that the matter is this: no matter how good Mikko Rantanen was, he was never going to make more than Nathan McKinnon or Cale Makar. It's as simple as that, right? So what are you going to do? Well, you bring in a player who might not be Rantanen level, but he's maybe just a level right below him, right? And also, reports are that I was listening to today from Canucks reporters is that the Avs might be in on JT Miller now, right? Because they're saving a little bit of money. So, you mentioned, Ryan, the door is open. And as a Canucks fan, you want to see something progressive. As a hockey fan, you want to see your front office be progressive. Rather than sit back on your hands and wait for something to happen, be like Carolina. Throw the first shot, right? Put your first stoke in the fire, right? Move like that. You know what? They got Mikko Rantanen. He might not stay, but look, they have a guy in Sebastian Aho who is good buddies with him. So they have themselves set in a prime position. Now, I don't know if Carolina's going to dole out $14 million in the summer to pay him, but
they should.
At least they're being aggressive, right? This is a team that for how many years has been knocking on the door to get to the finals. Could Rantanen be that piece to take him over the hump? Absolutely. And as a Carolina Hurricanes fan, as a fan of hockey, you have to sit back and applaud that move, right? To get salary retained from Chicago too, right? Like,
let's not even talk about that. Like, that's an embarrassment to the sport. No, it is absolutely embarrassing. Chicago Blackhawks did.
Like, we have to talk about that. We have to talk about that because I agree so wholeheartedly.
Like that, and to me, that's the only thing saving Justin. The Avalanche from getting raked over the coals is, well, Chicago was even worse.
But you know what? You know what, though? Based on, kind of to jump off what Justin was saying there, I also kind of appreciate the balls from Joe Sakic to be like, look, we don't feel like we're going to be able to get this guy with contracts coming up for Rantanen
also told us a finished paper.
Allegedly,
that he would take a home team discount. What a state.
And and even if that's true, they looked at their numbers and said, I don't feel like the depth of our team is going to be able to be there if we pay these 3 guys. Imagine saying that about 3 guys, let alone 4, like what the Leafs have tried to do. They said, we don't think the depth of our team's going to look very good if we do this. So let's go get an up-and-coming young player in Marty Necas, who's one of the fastest players in the league and can play with Nate Dogg. And they go and get Jack Drury, who's a great young depth guy on, maybe he's a top 6 guy, but he's certainly a great top 9 guy who's also fast and can play in that system. They went out and had the balls. Look, do they win this trade? Probably not. But in a couple years, if with the money they saved on a potential Rantanen deal, they go out, fill out the rest of their roster and go win another cup, no one's going to go, boy, I wish Mikko Rantanen was still here. So from that perspective, I appreciate on the other side the balls from Colorado.
I get that. And they had also a lot of balls by making the 2 trades for the goalies they have, because I don't think any team's going to win with those 2 goalies. That's just my opinion. I don't think they're good.
Blackwood's been good, though. Blackwood's been good for them. But I'll say this. Let's talk about the Chicago thing.
Yeah.
I said this on the air. Like I said, I was doing an OHL game that night. I said this on the air. If I was Chicago's ownership group, I would have fired Kyle Davidson the second that trade went through. You are a disaster. You have nobody to play with your young superstar who I have a hot take on Mr. Bedard in a minute for you that you'll like, JP. You have nobody to play with him. You trade Taylor Hall, who he was just starting to gel with a little bit, and Bedard's picked his game up lately. You trade that guy. Now reports come out today that the Blackhawks are in the market for a veteran forward. So you trade that guy away, and then not only do you do that, you go and help a hated rival retain salary so they can flip a player and facilitate a deal. And you retained 50% of the guy's salary, and all you walked away with was a third-round pick? That's bare min a first and probably a second next year. That's what I would have said. A third? To help the Avalanche and Carolina get better, you got a third. Kyle,
and when I first heard the deal, I heard Kotkaniemi was in it, and I said, "Oh, that's who Chicago's getting." No, he wasn't even in the deal.
No, he wasn't.
No players for Chicago.
No,
I know.
Players.
It's crazy. It's absolutely embarrassing.
And you think like what was it, Patty Marleau, that salary dump got Carolina first round pick, right?
Yep.
You had to attach
that turned into Seth Jarvis.
Exactly, it turned to Seth Jarvis, right? So it just shows you that when you look at the Chicago Blackhawks and where they were, now they had a whole bunch of bad transgressions that took place during that time frame, but on the ice, what happened? They drafted and developed a core all around the same age, and you picked the smart vets they brought in. Remember, they had Martin Hansel there. They brought in Brian Campbell. They brought in John Madden, Johnny Oduya, right? They had these guys where you look at this team now, and if you watch Connor Bedard in interviews, he looks like he hates everything about him. And this goes back to the last year, the whole Corey Perry, all those BS rumors that came out. And the fact that the Blackhawks never came to his defense and just told people to just stop initially. If I'm Connor Bedard, and I know where you're going to, Ryan, right now.
Yeah, you do.
In 3 years' time, why don't I just go home and play for the hometown team? Why don't I just force my way out of Chicago? Right? It's going to get to that point where a guy like Connor Bedard, who we all thought, remember, it's all rigged that he was going to go to Chicago, original 6 franchise. They've mishandled this first 2 years where Macklin Celebrini out in San Jose looks like he's enjoying it. He's flying out of the gate so far in his rookie year. And Bedard was supposed to be better. And I still think Bedard is a better player, but San Jose has a younger team, and the timeline and the way they've created that culture there, you're seeing Celebrini thrive there, where Bedard looks like he hates his life playing in Chicago.
Yeah, it's bad news bears out there, dude. And I don't know. And I love that you could kind of read my mind. I'm not just saying that for clickbait or anything. Like, I legitimately believe within 3 to 4 years, Connor Bedard's going to be wearing a Canucks uniform. And I don't know if maybe, there's a thing in the future where maybe Pettersson ends up becoming a Blackhawk. I don't know, but
there was rumors last year about that before he signed.
There was. And again, this Rantanen monster has opened up a lot of doors around the league of people going, and fan bases, rightly so, turning, and probably owners, if they're smart, to their general managers, turning and going, what the hell are we doing here? Why can't we make a deal like that? We haven't had success. What are we doing? So I don't know, man.
The NHL, it's always been a step behind like the NFL and the NBA in terms of player movement. But you're starting to see now these 3-team trades becoming more and more prevalent in the NHL, and these salary maneuverments. And people might come on and say, "Oh, it's not fair." No, the Hurricanes front office is smart. They're utilizing the Tampa Bay Lightning.
No doubt
utilizing this, circumventing the CBA or whatever. That's smart. You want your team to do that. That's why people are mad.
There's no circumventing anything. It's just
it's all legal. It's all legal. They're following the rules. They're taking advantage of the rules that are in front of them, JP. As simple as that.
Exactly.
Eric Tulsky, like he just threw his with up there with Washington and Florida again, maybe even Minnesota. Like Eric Tulsky's all of a sudden thrown himself right into the mix with Winnipeg too, with Executive of the Year talk. Like he has to be in there now. It's a wild thing that happened, man. Dude, I love the Vancouver market. I love that city. It's my favorite place to visit in the world. I love it. I really, really am hoping for better things for your Canucks, buddy. I really appreciate you coming on and doing this. You're a great guy to have on because we can jump around to so many different sports with you. It's great to have you back on, brother. Thanks so much for doing this, eh?
My pleasure, boys. As always, I'm always a quick message away whenever you guys need me.
Hey, and don't forget Sunday morning, 7:30 to 11:30, SI locker room.
Yes,
that's what it says on your board there. I've been staring at it the whole time.
Oh yes, my monthly calendar. Yes, thank you. SI locker room is UFC for all you guys.
Oh, very good.
Check that out.
There you go. Don't forget.
Yeah.
That's what's great about our buddy JP. He's got his fingers all over the pulse of the sports world. He's all over the place. Clark reading this guy's calendar. Unbelievable. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Clarkey and I will discuss maybe a little more about his little escape and what we need to do to fix his golf game. And also the Blue Jays, they made a massive, massive signing in terms of names and stature to their roster. We'll talk about that next here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. With Clarkey back in the country from his little escapade, and you look I didn't say it earlier, but now that I'm looking at you in the light, especially you got touched up down there. Dude.
I tried to stay out of the sun, but it's hard, right?
You can't stay out of the sun down there.
No, not when you're golfing.
That's the whole thing. No, it's good. I'm glad you had a good time, buddy. You deserve a break.
Thanks, buddy.
Especially from your Maple Leafs. They've done it again. 3 straight losses for the third time this year.
I'm not happy.
They're doing it again. And in those 3 straight losses, these recent ones, that Minnesota game, oh God, with no Kaprizov in the lineup, that was.
Well, wait a minute.
I actually think that was one of their flattest.
No, nice, no. Well, you can't say no Kaprizov without saying how much, like 4 guys out of the Leaf lineup. Like, come on, let's not
the 3 big guys. That's Minnesota's best player.
Yeah, I get it, but we talked about depth.
I saw Matthews on the ice. We talked about depth before. Yeah, and they don't have it because they pay those guys too much money. Anyway, I digress. Speaking of paying people money, this guy. I'm sorry, Clary. Oh, that's good. We'll blur that. The Blue Jays. Wow, $15.5 million on a 1-year deal for Max Scherzer.
This guy's 40 years old, right?
He's 40 years old. He'll turn 41 during this season.
Just came off surgery last year. Didn't he have surgery last year?
Yeah,
2 wins last year.
Shoulder surgery.
Perfect for a 40-year-old.
Yeah,
dude. Let's not get excited about this, please. The Jays would have been excited for this.
I would have been excited about
signing these old guys.
I would have been excited about this.
This is ridiculous.
5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have been over the moon. I would have been unbelievable. It's. I look at it and I just am like
Dave Steeb's available too. They could sign him.
I look at it like, let's be fair here. This guy's like a multi-Cy Young winner. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He should be unanimous
for sure.
Like some of the dopes in this
for Scherzer.
For Scherzer, yes. That'll be a hashtag. Jay's marketing department. You can have that, I guess.
Yeah. No, they can't have it. They can buy it.
You wouldn't give anybody credit for it anyway because you're the smartest people in the room. But you can have that one, I guess.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I just think that this is a billboard filler, really.
Yeah, it's a jersey seller.
Legend.
It's all what it's all about. It's a jersey seller, man. It's just another way to get money in the pockets of the Rogers, and that's all.
Come on down to the park and see this legendary guy. Yeah,
Pyro went up to Eddie Rogers and said, "Guess what? I signed Max Scherzer." He goes, "Scherzer, I know that name."
Yeah,
get the jerseys printed right away. Get the jerseys printed. Make sure the cup holders are good, and make sure the
hashtag. Get Clarkey's hashtag. Come down to the park and see good old Scherzer.
And what's happening with
$22 beers?
What's happening with the guys we need to sign? What's happening there?
Pete Alonso. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
The guy
down
we
there.
have now.
No, Vlad. Yeah, nothing.
Exactly.
You want to know?
Here's another $15 million. Poof, gone out the window.
You want to know what,
There's
dude?
another 11 million to a second baseman, whoever is the worst hitter in baseball. Poof.
You know what they
out
are?
the door. Like,
You know what they are right now? They're the 2003 Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's bring in Eric Lindros.
well,
Let's get
2003
Owen Nolan.
Maple Leafs, if I'm not mistaken.
The 2002
Either-
Maple Leafs went to the conference final.
Didn't they go conference final back to back?
No. They went conference final 98 or 99.
I know 2002
99.
for sure. But
2002, and they lost to the hurt
Yeah.
Jeff O'Neill's
anyway,
Hurricanes.
let's not. Yeah.
But my point is, it's like, oh, let's sign Owen Nolan, let's sign Eric Lindros, let's trade for Brian Leach. You know, that's it, and that's what it is. It's like, oh, let's stitch this legendary name for a year.
Yeah,
on the
but that
jerseys
team
and
was close
whatnot.
to like getting to the conference finals.
They
like, at
were
least you're
good.
Close. You're not.
They were good.
Do
Like
I need to remind
Sundin-
you how many wins the Jays had last year? They're
and
not
that's what I'm
good.
saying here. Like, I look at this and the Santander and this, and I sit there and I go, 74 wins last year. George Springer's a year older and can't hit. Dalton Varshall's a great defender, can't hit. Andres
Right.
Jimenez is a plus defender. Is he going to hit like he did 3 years ago, 2 years ago, or is he last year's Andres Jimenez, who also can't hit? Ernie Clement, young guy. Sort of showed flashes. You're going to rely on him. Alejandro Kirk couldn't hit last year. Bo Bichette, what is he? So I look at this and I go, 74 wins last year with Santander and Scherzer. Let's say Scherzer's fully healthy and he starts 25 games and he's sort of old Max Scherzer. What's this game win? 81 games and miss the playoffs? I might be generous giving them 7 wins. And you know what's going to happen?
Won
dude?
2 last
one
year.
One of two things is going to happen. He was unhealthy.
I
One of
get
two
it.
things is going to
He's
happen with
40
this
years
Max
old.
Scherzer thing. One of two things is going to happen.
Yeah.
He's going to start less than 10 games and barely pitch. And that'll be that. And 15.5 flush it. Or he's not going to be a Blue Jay by like the start of August. And
Just
he'll
like
get
every
traded
other
to a
old guy
content-
they've signed.
And he'll get traded to a contender.
That's their strategy. Let's
For
sign
the,
this guy and
by
then
the
let's
way,
trade them for nothing in August.
They'll trade him, and they'll trade him to a team to be their 5th or 6th starter and maybe be a bullpen guy late in games
Yeah.
for that team's like 9th best prospect.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen here. And it'll be like, remember that time Max Scherzer was a Blue Jay for 4 months?
Yeah.
And we'll be like, oh, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can't even
that's
remember
what's
the
gonna
old guy
happen,
they
dude.
signed last year, and then they let him go. Who that?
Oh, Justin Turner.
yeah, Justin Turner. Same thing, except he wasn't coming off shoulder surgery.
No. And he was okay at times.
The name is what matters to Eddie Rogers and Mark Shapiro. Scherzer, I can see it on the back of jerseys.
Yeah, not
already.
success and
I
not
can see
actual
it.
team building.
The jerseys are printed. At some point the next day, the Jays are going to tweet out, "Buy your jerseys now." Scherzer jerseys.
Sure.
Yeah, try to say shoulder surgery jerseys.
Shoulder surgery. Scherzer jersey. It's tough. That's a hard one.
It is.
And apparently it's tough to run a baseball team. I'll say this, dude. You know what? You made a joke before our friend Justin Pooni from Homestand Sports came on with us to start the show. Thanks again to our buddy JP. You made a joke when we referenced with him the Max Scherzer thing, because it happened right before we came on the air, about Ross getting executive of the year.
Yeah.
You know who I'm not even saying this because I'm now, of course, part of Cubs Nation, right? We all remember last year when I made my grant and I was taking my fan talents to Wrigley. I think that their front office might legitimately, they go get Kyle Tucker. Now they're in talks. They got Ryan Presley in a trade from the Astros to be the closer. Now there's talks that Presley might coax his buddy Alex Bregman to come over and play third. And now there's a rumor that they're in heated talks with the Padres to get Dylan Cease. Holy cow, Cubbies. Let's go, Wrigleyville. I'm coming this year. Unbelievable stuff, dude. Anyway, let's get down to brass tacks here, Clarkey. You're really excited about something. I can tell you're excited. It's early, but we need some time here, allegedly. You've told us that this is a big spread you've got prepared for the couch potato this week. So we're going to take the cushions off the couch. We're going to take the pillows off. We're going to build you a nice little couch fort here. You take over. You're excited.
Well, I am excited. Why. As you know, I was in the Dominican
You're
Republic.
in the DR.
Last week, and they have a sports bar at this resort I was at, which is nice. Yeah, we asked for the Leaf game. Boom, Leaf game came on Saturday night. So it was nice, and they have like the football. Obviously, I watched the football game. We spent 6 hours in there on Sunday watching the 2 football games.
Yeah,
I tipped them $2. Like, come on, like that was anyway. It was neat to sit there with Bills fans and Chiefs fans, cheering back and forth, and the Bills fans. Oh my God! Like I saw myself as a Leaf fan there. Like that's me. That's me right there. Like they lost again. Lost again. They cannot win. So anyway, but the first night we were there, we decided, there's a baseball game on. So I Googled it. The Dominican Championships were on. Best 4.
Yeah, winter ball.
7. Yeah. So Dominican League. And I know there's a team there called Licey. And Licey is like the Dodgers. Like they're the top team in the Dominican. They've won the most championships. So Licey was in the final against Escogida. Leones.
Escogida, yep.
Let's just say Leones. So Leones and Licey. When we got there, Leones was up 2 games to 1. 2 games to 1. Licey wins 2-2. Leones goes up 3 games to 2. And it's game 6. Adam, you can roll it now. Game 6, 2 out, 1 on. Leones is 1 pitch away from winning this championship, and they hit a home run. What a clutch home run. And now watch this guy go around the bases. I've never seen it. He's not even at first base yet. Like, this guy was so slow around the bases, but it was unbelievable. Oh, now he's over to third. But in the bar that night when this was going on, the people were going crazy because the Leones fans, like the staff, right? The staff are all watching. And the stadium where they're playing, both teams call this stadium home. There's only 2 teams that play in the same stadium throughout the year, and it's these 2 teams. It's literally divided right behind home plate. Leones fans, third base side, or Licey fans, third base side, Leones fans, the other side. But what a clutch home run. Like, all the Leones fans were like, they couldn't believe it because they were high-fiving. They were like,
we're a pitch away.
A pitch away. They just about turned a double play on the batter before, but he was just beat it out at first base. Now, number 5 there is the manager for Leones. You know this guy. Do you know who this is? You can only see his back. It's tough.
Oh my God, is that Albert Pujols?
Yes, he is the manager. Very good, right?
No way.
He's the manager for Leones. And what's happening here is they challenged the kid's bat.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so they challenged
Are
his
you
bat.
about to tell me that the bat's illegal and they won?
No. And that would have made a better story. But they challenged the bat. And now, like, because we're watching it, we're like, what is happening? Because obviously we don't understand what's going on, but we have a feeling.
Sure.
Now, here's the guy. He's so ticked off. And then here they go. They're running off the field with this bat. It was crazy. Anyway, Licey wins the game in the 14th inning. They won it in the 14th inning to force
Game 7.
Okay. Now, we're good. Adam, you can go to the next clip now. So this is game 7. Set it up. 5-5, top of 9. Base hit down the line. Gets on base. The next guy comes up, and I swear, I've seen a lot of home runs, long home runs.
Who is this?
I don't know. But look at how far. Now remember, look at 411 to center field. This thing goes off the scoreboard. Leonis goes up 6'5", I guess, at the time. I can't remember, 6'5", 7'5". But watch this guy going around the bases. Look at the whole team's out there.
Which team hit this? Is this
Leones. This is
the
Leones.
underdogs?
The underdogs.
Amazing.
Yeah. Look at the whole team's out there. Look at this guy go around the bases.
Yeah, it's taking 20 years for this guy to round the base. This is amazing stuff.
And the pitcher.
Man.
Now watch when he gets to the third base coach.
Look at the passion on these people.
Third base coach. He stops.
Cool. Oh, come on.
The hug. And now he's walking.
Oh, no.
It literally took 3 minutes for him to get around the bases. Right? Unbelievable.
I don't
now they're saying touch home plate. Make sure you touch home plate. Touch them all.
Yeah, you got to touch it.
Touch them all. Anyway, so Leonis went up 6-5, the underdog, and they won the game. They win the championship.
They won. So, wow. Okay.
They won.
Congrats to Albert Pujols.
When I was there with my nephew down in Dominican, and we picked a team in Game 5.
Yeah.
And
you picked the manager.
The manager of the bar was a Leonis fan. So he wasn't happy after Game 6, but he certainly wasn't after Game 7. He was happy. Anyway, so congratulations to Leonis, who won the championship.
Pujols.
And Albert Pujols. And I have to. I bought a Lisey hat when I was there, and we wore it in the bar. That just having fun, right? Just
Clarkey.
So that's Lisey. So they're my team. Runners up once again, but there's Dominican flag on the side. But Lisey Tigers. It's the Lisey Tigers and the Escogido Leones.
So you've got a Lisey hat. They're like the Dodgers. You say
they are. Yeah.
And you're supporting them, but they lost. They lost to the
I know. It's fine. It's fine.
It's cool though. Congrats.
The only reason we picked Lisey was because I had heard of Lisey. I hadn't heard of the other team. Aguilares, I think, is the other team who has won the most. I was trying to get a guy. There was a guy in the bar from Dominican, and I was talking to him throughout the game. His English was kind of okay, a lot better than my Spanish, and I was trying to get him on the show tonight, but he was just too nervous to come on.
But
it was fun. It was just a fun atmosphere, and
that's amazing stuff, dude. Yeah. Look at that. Like that. Hey, and again, for people that can't see, you're listening on the podcast, go check this part out on our YouTube channel. And of course on Whiteman. Hey, that's great stuff. Like
that home run, like the 2 home runs in those games were it was craziness. It was fun to watch. It was just fun to watch. We watched
electric stuff, man.
Yeah. And it was fun.
I got to say, too, and there's been lots of conversations about it just here, and I understand that, money is a big factor and everything, but, the passion for sport in countries like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We think we're big fans, and, people like you and I are on that level where it's we live and die with our team. Look at this, all this crap around me. I live and breathe Caps hockey, Chelsea Football Club. But a lot of us, over there and, even in, Europe and, the fans, oh, God.
Because it's all about getting better and winning. It's not about making a stadium look better and sitting better and selling jerseys. It's not what it's about there.
No, it's about the product being amazing and trying to win and having the fans be part of it. And really part of it. And
Lisey!
How about that, man? That's amazing. That's great. I'm glad you got to take stuff like that. And it's incredible stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. There was people watching soccer there too.
Well, for sure there would have been.
Yeah. Guess what the score was?
What were they watching? 0-0?
They were watching Argentina juniors playing somebody.
Oh yeah, okay, because it's qualifying, I think, for the Junior World Cup.
There you go.
Which is
0-0
this year.
Yeah, 0-0.
Yeah.
No.
I believe the under 20 World Cup is this year. It's usually the year before the Senior World Cup. So that makes sense.
Boca? Is there a Boca junior team? Boca?
Oh, Boca Juniors? Yeah, that's
Boca.
in the Argentinian
So
league.
it was Argentina against Boca, and it was 0-0.
Boca Juniors, a humongous club down there.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what it said on the scoreboard anyway. Whatever that
Boca
means.
Junior, big club.
There you go.
Messi did not play there. A lot of people think he did. He played for Young Boys.
Now, I have to fly, so you need to do your couch potato so we can wrap this show up.
I'll do that. Yes. Thank you, Clarkey. I appreciate it. That's a great couch potato. Mine is very simple here.
Okay.
It was the anniversary on Tuesday of this week. I believe it was Tuesday. Producer Adam, it's a very quick GIF. Somebody made a GIF of the video. Clarkey, you'll remember this. This happened before I was born. 1989, Boston Garden. A fan jumps over the glass to try and get at referee Bill McCreary.
Oh, yeah. And the linesman
and our buddy Ronnie Asseltine steps up to save the day.
Oh, yeah, he took him out.
Here comes the fan.
It's crazy. Here he is. I remember that like it was yesterday.
With the hit of the century. It's just an incredible clip. Yeah. Like, this ranks right up there. Billy McCreary's ready to drop the puck. He doesn't even see this cat coming. And
who are they playing? Who's Boston playing?
I think Buffalo. Buffalo. But Ronnie Asseltine, lower the boom.
Did Buffalo have jerseys like that? Maybe the Jets.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Like, I don't think Buffalo had the stripe down the arms. It's hard to tell.
You know what? I think that might be the Jets. Yeah. Good eye on you there. All I'm focused on is this guy coming for Billy McCreary. Boom. And Ronnie Asseltine. First of all, what a handle, Ron Asseltine. Like, that just sounds like the local guy down at the bar that no one wants to mess with.
He was a bear. He was solid.
No one argued with Ronnie Asseltine. And
I think it's the Jets.
I think so too.
That's why I was zooming in.
This is right up there with like the guy that jumped over the glass and Rob Ray punched him 860 times, like on the Buffalo bench. This clip's right up there, and like this should be a warning to any fan. Like, don't do this stuff, dude. Like,
remember Ty Domi, the Philadelphia Flyer fan, got in the penalty box with Ty Domi.
Because he squirted him with the water
bottle. Watch the lawsuit, Ty. Watch the lawsuit.
Harry Neal with one of the greatest calls of all time. Watch the lawsuit.
Those little clips, right? Like Craig McTavish, the
ripping Harvey Hounds.
Yeah, like things like that just stick with you forever.
And the shoe guy.
Amazing.
Jim Schoenfeld. Remember Jim Schoenfeld and Ron?
Yes.
Have a donut, you fat pig.
Yeah.
Have another donut. If you don't know... If you don't know what we're talking about, look up Jim Schoenfeld. He was coaching the Devils, and in the playoffs one year, they got, I don't know, Jimmy felt like he got hosed on a call and tried to follow the refs to their dressing room, and he yells down the hall at, it actually might have been Bill McCreary that he yelled that at. I could be wrong.
Maybe.
But he yells down, have another donut, you fat pig. I don't think it was Billy McCreary. He was a legend, well-respected guy.
Okay.
This fan tried to take him out, and Ronnie Asseltine said, no, thank you. That's my couch potato. Oh, Lord. Anyway, good to have you back, buddy. Best of luck.
I got to go. I got a pickleball match.
Get out of here, dude. Get out of here. Clarkey, see you later. He's got pickleball. Better luck next time when you hit the golf links next. Thanks to our friend Justin Pooni for joining us and chatting all things Super Bowl, chatting all things Canucks. I mean, we got into a whole bunch of stuff this week, man. Good to have you back, Clarkey. All right, you can watch this show Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's Channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. Debut on our YouTube channel Friday nights at 9. Follow us on social media at InstigatingPod. We're on all your favorite podcast apps. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week to preview the Super Bowl here on Instigating.